All right, guys. So our next topic is going to keep us in the world of the MCU, as we have gotten our very first reactions and not really reviews, but our first reactions are our social media reactions to the first 3 episodes of WandaVision, and they are looking really good. But I will say, everybody, temper your expectations, because there were also some good reviews. Not that one. Not too long ago, with some stellar Wonder Woman 84 reviews, okay?
And they were spot on.
To some, maybe they were. But either way, not since Zack Snyder has a movie been so divisive, in my opinion. And maybe in your case, wrongfully so, just like my case for Zack Snyder's movies, wrongfully so. Because Man of Steel is goddamn masterpiece, and Batman vs Superman is fine. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's fine. But Wonder Woman 84, it's not good.
Might have a tongue left pretty soon to keep biting it this hard.
Dude, you can't deny Man of Steel is a goddamn masterpiece.
Oh, Man of Steel is phenomenal. Man of Steel
is an amazing movie. Everybody who criticizes Man of Steel, and I know art is subjective, I'll be the first person to say, if you hate that movie, feel free to be wrong. It's okay every once in a while, but it's amazing. All right, it's amazing. It's okay to be wrong. Everybody's wrong at one point, and that's just the time you're choosing to be wrong. So it's okay. Man of Steel is awesome, so good. Anyway, let's get into these WandaVision reviews here real quick. So they are very good, and there are a couple here. I'm just going to read a couple of them, because one of them here by Steve Frosty Weintraub here of Collider says that have seen the first 3 episodes of WandaVision and love how big of a swing Marvel Studios is taking with the series. The reason the MCU is king of the hill is Kevin Feige. Speaking of Kevin Feige, amazing leadership and willingness to take risks like what you'll see in WandaVision. And then a lot of people ask me about the length of WandaVision. The first 3 episodes are about an hour and a half. So, and he says he thinks the episodes get longer as we get further into the series. I don't see how that's possible, because we just were told that there's going to be 9 episodes instead of 6. I just don't see. Cause see, that's the thing too. That's what I was telling you off camera, that I'm worried about that announcement of them going from the initial announcement said that there was going to be 6-hour-long episodes. And then just this past week, we were told there was actually going to be 9 episodes. So my worry was that they essentially just pulled like 15, 20 minutes from every, like those 6 episodes, just to make 3 more 30-ish minute episodes. And then you'll have some episodes that could maybe be 30 minutes, maybe some 40 minutes, just depending on where they had to cut and slice some stuff out.
They did with Mando.
But you at least get 8 episodes of Mando. Yeah. Like, this is going from 6 to 9, and I feel like it's just because it's just so that man, I'm on a roll with this stuff. I got low key, I got 6ix9ine in there. I'm going for it. But with the Mando stuff, it just kind of is. You know what I mean? This is like there's 6 hours. And like now it was 6 episodes. Maybe I don't actually know. Did they ever actually officially say 6, or did people just assume 6 because we were told 6 hours? I can't remember which one it was, but I know there was an article referring to there being 6 hours. I swear to God, it was 6 hours, 6 episodes.
I don't remember hearing that. I vaguely remember the 6-hour thing, but I thought that was more of this is kind of what we're envisioning, not this is what we've settled on.
Right, because I feel like I thought they said the same thing, and this could have been really early on what I'm thinking of, because I feel like they said the same thing for like Winter Soldier and stuff, that it's like 3 2-hour movies, and I think maybe that people just kind of put everything together with that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, because I mean that would make sense. Just like we essentially shot everything as 3 2-hour movies. That's that was the thing somewhere at some point. But either way, threw a couple more of these here. Eric Goldman at the Eric Goldman says the entire cast of WandaVision is great and fully committed to the stylized approach, but Elizabeth Olsen's performance is truly outstanding and one of those, man, if award shows weren't snobby about superhero stuff, she would likely get an Emmy nomination situation. Mandalorian got nominated for Emmys this past year.
That's not really, well, I guess you could consider it superhero in a way.
It has the same stigma to it as a superhero movie. It's Star Wars.
It's genre TV.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, WandaVision. It's a gas. After screening the first 3 episodes, I'm hooked. Fun, clever, marvelous. Do you see what they did there?
They're not the only ones that are. You're not the only ones.
We're in
on a
good
roll.
company. We're in good company. The quirky minute sitcom style leaves you wanting another episode each time. So kind of like this. Maybe they did stick to the whole each episode is its own time frame sitcom like style thing too, because we heard like that first episode supposed to be like the 50s sitcom thing, and maybe they did in fact stick with that. I'm not gonna lie to you though. I kind of just want modern day stuff in a lot of ways. I'm excited for a couple episodes of the weird quirkiness stuff, but I kind of just I'm good with the modern day stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm interested in the modern day stuff. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to, even if it's great and it sounds like a great concept, I'm not like trying to like crap on it by any means. But I really want to know. This is the first thing that we've gotten after Endgame, and I kind of want to know what the world's doing right there. You know?
I was going to ask that when you were right in the middle of that. I was trying to let you finish what you were saying, but do you think that's though just because we haven't gotten? I mean, we've been out of the MCU for what? It'll be almost. It's been a year and a half, almost 2 years since we've set foot in the MCU by the time this comes out. So do you think it's just the lack of MCU content that has you like really eager to jump back in? And if this had come out in the midst of, Black Widow being out and the Eternals being out and, some of the other films being out so that you have that modern, that view on what the current state of the MCU is, do you think that would make it less likely that you'd be so eager to skip some of the nuances of this?
It's hard to say, but I know from watching when they released the first like long trailer of WandaVision, and you get that one shot of Vision flying up, so like it's modern day now. That was my favorite scene in the trailer. Like, and it was just a modern, like, I don't know why. It was just like a quick, stupid scene. Like, didn't mean or tell you anything, but for whatever reason, that's the one I liked because it was modern day. And like, I don't know. That's the only thing I can correlate to. It's just like, I want to see more of that. I like the superhero crap. I'm super biased. But I love sitcoms though too. I'm super biased. But I love sitcoms. I've watched like every single sitcom. So I mean, not every sitcom from the 50s, but I did.
You do like your sitcoms.
I do. Yeah, I love Friends. I love Seinfeld. I love Frasier. I love Cheers. Dude, I love it all, man. Friends. You're the only person in the entire world who's going to say something about not liking Friends. Like, there's nothing to not like. Like, it's a good show. And you don't have to love it.
I got a new tattoo.
Like, it's a good show.
I got a tattoo of every funny moment from Friends right here.
So it's the same as your skin tone then, right? That's a big tattoo. That's a big tattoo.
Non-existent.
You are absolutely insane, sir. You are absolutely. There are so many crappy shows out there.
You can't watch the quiz episode where they're playing trivia for their apartment.
That's my favorite episode.
That episode is just comedy.
For the longest time, when the one where they lose their apartment, is that the one you're talking about? Season 4, like episode 1 or 2. That was always my favorite episode. Then the one where they did the Joey was going to be the game show host. What was the name of that game called?
Oh, I forget. But...
Oh man, it's going to bother the hell out of me now. Too bad Eric didn't watch the show and he could just tell us.
The first 3 or 4 seasons of Friends were, I think, some of the funniest television I've ever seen.
It was one of those shows that stayed consistent all the way through, though. Like it never lost steam in my like. The Office kind of lost steam when Steve Carell left. Seinfeld kind of lost steam in the last season, mainly the finale, I guess. But like that was mainly the thing people didn't like about it. Frasier didn't lose any steam though. That's my favorite. Frasier is my favorite sitcom series.
I never watched Frasier. I watched Cheers, sort of, and then, but I never made the jump over to Frasier.
It's a million times, but people might think this is sacrilegious, but like Frasier is 1,000 times better than Cheers, dude. Like Cheers is kind of boring. Like in all honesty, it is very boring. Like in comparison to like Frasier is more along the lines of a Seinfeld and a Friends, and like it came out a little bit later. You know what I mean? It's a little more, maybe that might be why I'm a little bit more biased to it.
I don't think
like,
you can top Seinfeld. It's like
Seinfeld's great.
Yeah.
Like, Seinfeld's great. You know what's better than Seinfeld though? I will say, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like in all honesty,
Dude, never really got into that.
dude,
So good.
it's honestly I like it more than Seinfeld.
Larry David.
Yeah, I mean same guy.
Yeah.
But it's like
it's Seinfeld without the restraints of network television.
True.
It lends itself to more extreme circumstances and more, cringeworthy moments. That I think that's why it kind of maybe one up Seinfeld.
Well, and Larry David is just so deadpan about everything, dude. Like it's just incredible. Like he's so diluted, and like it's just so good, man. It's so good. I love that show so much. All right, let's get like two more of these here and see what they have to say. The detailed craftsmanship and practicality that went into recreating the spirit of classic sitcoms is absolutely stunning. But the real magic trick is Shackman's mastery over a complex tone. It's hysterical, tense, compelling, otherworldly. One of my fave MCU entries. That's a lot for an hour and a half, dude.
Yeah, that's a deep
yeah,
review of it.
Yeah, that's a. I don't know. That's a bit much. I don't know if I buy it. Not that I doubt it in any way. It's just like it seems like a very. I don't feel like you've seen enough, but who knows? I haven't seen any of it. Watched the first 3 episodes of WandaVision yesterday. It's weird and hilarious in ways Marvel has no right attempting, but they nail it anyway. Then it sprinkles in just enough mystery to keep you speculating and fascinated. I'm so excited to see how far it goes. I mean, it's all clear across the board. I don't think I've seen anything.
It's all good reviews, it looks like.
Again, I like this one. Watch 3 episodes of WandaVision, and the show is weird as hell.
In a good way.
That's more my kind of review. I want that. 2 things are clear. Marvel's dedicated to parodying classic sitcoms. 2, the MCU is finally back. See? Yeah. Can't wait to see how the show sets up Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man 3. I think everybody is there with you, dude. Everybody is there with you. All right. What do you think about this? Does this get you any more excited for WandaVision? Old Johnny Boy or Rick?
No, I'm actually trying not to put too much stock in these reviews because they're reinforcing my huge excitement level I had for it. I have grandparents that that were I saw the old 50s sitcoms with them. I mean, between my grandparents, my parents, and then myself, I cover the entire gamut of sitcoms that they're going to go through. So I remember watching things like The Honeymooners and I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
And so when they first announced this show and they said that was the premise for it, I thought, A, what the F? Because how in the world are they going to work a superhero show into, the sitcom universe, let alone the sitcom universe, spanning decades.
Mm-hmm.
But being like, this could be spectacular. I love comic books and I love superheroes, but I also like just good storytelling. And that's why like some of my favorite comic books aren't superhero comic books. Things like Day Tripper and Preacher and Lock and Key. I love those series, and they're not superhero comic books, but
I love a Lock and Key show.
They do. There's a Lock and Key show on Netflix, which is actually really good. It's not as dark maybe as the comics were, but it's still excellent. I'm looking forward to season 2, which supposedly they're filming now. But I really love good storytelling, and Marvel obviously knows how to tell good stories, and I love everything I'm hearing. Like, it's weird as hell. That's so exciting to me.
Yeah,
that's really true.
So great. They whatever they're trying to do, all the reviews seem to say one thing in common is that they're doing it well. And so I can't. The hardest part of this series is going to be the wait in between each episode, I think, for me.
That's why I don't want. That's why I'm worried they just pulled and to make 9 episodes. They just made stuff shorter. I'm telling you, every time you turn on Mandalorian, don't act like the first thing you do is check and see the end time, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just like, how long is this one? And you're just like, it's only 30 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
and then you just die inside. It's never a problem though. They like the way they pace the
They
shows.
do a good job.
It's amazing. Like I'll watch a 30-minute episode of Mando and feel like I got an hour for the content out of it half the time.
Sure.
So I mean, they do a great job of it, but it's like, could you imagine actually getting the hour out of it? Like that'd be pretty cool. Like I'd be good with that.
That's true.
Like, you know,
Well,
what I
isn't
mean?
the first episode from this past season that Bo-Katan was in was only like a 35-minute episode, but my God, if that didn't feel like a whole hour long, like just epic like battle and stuff. That was
And
so
the
good.
Boba Fett one was the same way. I think the Boba Fett one was only
Yeah.
like 31 minutes, and it
They did a
felt
great job with
it
that,
felt
yeah.
long. It felt good. So yeah, they do a great job. If they can pace the show out like they do with Mando, then great. Like I'm just worried about it like being extended out for 9 episodes just so they can drag it on for 2 months. You know what I mean? Just to keep people subscribed. Like anyone's unsubscribing from Disney Plus.
Some math here while you were talking about it. If we're talking 9 episodes and you're giving a sitcom a decade, that only gets us up to the 2020. That only gets us through 7 episodes. So I'm wondering if those last 2 are more present day centric. If whatever they're building to culminates in the present, and then those last 2 don't follow the sitcom script, but are more the present day, what's going on in the MCU status quo. And that's how do they tie, because this show was meant to air when it is, I think, but yet Eternals and something else. I know Black Widow, but Black Widow's is a prequel, so that doesn't really count. We're meant to air last year, so I'm not sure how they're weaving this timeline all together with all the delays and stuff with COVID.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like were the Eternals meant to already be out and a part of the MCU before
they were.
WandaVision came out? And so will WandaVision reference the Eternals without the movie having been out? I'm really curious how they're going to do all that, work that together.
I don't think it would have anything to do with Eternals, but I mean, it's supposed to lead into Doctor Strange and Spider-Man 3. So I'm wondering if like we're gonna get a post-credit scene with Benedict Cucumber Man, or like Tom Holland pops in or something at the end, because like they're filming Spider-Man 3 right now. So I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't be too difficult for Tom Holland to pop in and just do something real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
That'd be cool.
yeah. Well, here's the thing: over under like 50%, you see a scene with like Wanda and Vision in like a coffee shop that's like very reminiscent to either like the diner in Seinfeld or like the Friends cafe, whatever. I can't Central Perk. What do you think? Think you're gonna see? We think we're gonna get something like that? Think we're gonna get a modern day sitcom in there, a more modern day one?
I may be misremembering this. This may not have come from an actual official source, but I thought somebody said that they were using The Office as inspiration for at least one of the episodes.
Oh yeah,
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That'd be interesting
cool
to see.
That'd be weird though. Why The Office?
Yeah.
You feel like I felt like Seinfeld or Friends would be perfect. I know Friends is owned by WB though, so that might be problematic. But you could totally recreate like a cafe, a Central Perk, and just
Sure, but both Seinfeld and Friends are pretty firmly 90s shows. I know Friends crossed over into the the aughts, but I think you could still put a Friends spin on it if you want to do 90s.
yeah. I feel like it would just like work. Because I mean, if you just had like Vision and Wanda walk into like the Seinfeld diner and just like sit down and order some food, like it could be the quickest just throwaway scene. And the same for going into Central Perk and getting some coffee. You know what I mean? Just like you just go to a cafe with a couch right in the middle of it, then you know what the idea is. You know, they're doing the Friends thing, guys. Same with you go to that like little left booth right from the door. It's like they're doing the Seinfeld thing, guys. That's really all. I just want to see that.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to see that, and I want to see like I hope we learn how it's gonna tie in to Doctor Strange and stuff, because that's the only thing that's really up in the air for me about it. Is like is this going to be the catalyst for Multiverse of Madness, or is the Multiverse of Madness already happening and like she's just like it's not caused by her? Like, you know what I mean? Like something's going on and Doctor Strange is like, I need your help. Or if she's causing the Multiverse of Madness. You know what I mean?
That's possible.
Like, because I feel like it's got to be one of the two. I don't really see what else it would be.
I mean, this isn't huge. This isn't spoilers for the show at all because I don't know anything about the show. But I mean, in the comics, Wanda did. I mean, she created at one point. She had a mental break and created the House of M storyline where she created an alternate universe and brought everybody over to it because she was having a mental breakdown. So yeah, I definitely think that that's a real possibility that they could be adapting this in some way like that.
Yeah, that would be my only guess. That's the only thing. Like that was where I think everybody's head logically went. It's like, oh, they're probably doing House of M or something. That at least Kevin Feige's little own play on it, like we were saying before, he like his own adaptation of some way. Because like Age of Ultron was nothing like Age of Ultron, and Civil War was nothing like Civil War when you compare the movies to the comics. But I don't know. That's what I'm excited for. Rick, are you excited for it in any way?
Yeah, actually, I think it'll be cool. It's not something that really, I guess, tooted my horn at first or anything, but especially after hearing you guys talk about it and seeing like the previews and that sort of thing. They're playing a lot of previews on TV right now. It looks good. Like,
yeah, it looks great.
I'm not super familiar with the whole like Vision storyline or Wanda or anything like that, but I think it'll be good, and I think the MCU knows what they're doing, and it'll be entertaining to say the least.
Do you think Vision is just back now? Like, you think he's just alive, like somehow,
or did she just create?
Yeah, because I mean, he's totally dead, but like he's totally in that show.
Yeah.
I mean, Vision's one of those characters though where it's tricky because he's an android. So like, what is death for an android?
Yeah. Like,
so
they could always pull a thing where it's like, yeah, unfortunately, Shuri wasn't able to disconnect the Mind Stone from Vision prior to his death, but she was able to make a backup of Jarvis's consciousness, and we've been able to reprogram it and blah 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 blah, more fake technology stuff, So here he is. Like,
That'll be some explanation, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out in like 3 days now. I guess maybe we'll figure it out. But anyways, guys. Let us know what you think about these reviews, these early reviews in for WandaVision. Do you think, or does this get you more excited for the show? Or are you a little bit more hesitant, kind of like me, because, I don't know, not just because of the Wonder Woman reviews, but as the most recent example of a bunch of reviews that were stellar and amazing for a movie that was not, in my opinion. I've learned over the years just not to really, I don't really pay attention to the reviews. I do like to, I like when there's like clear consensus of, okay, cool, there's a lot of people liking it, so that's a good sign. But at the same time, I don't buy into it all that much. I'm very hesitant. So let us know what you guys think down in the comment section below.